Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start taking a look at some new stuff. Let's take a look at percentages. Now, you'll notice I got a kind of an interesting array of interesting information here. I got a stick, some money, and a pair of clippers. So, with that, let's go ahead and get started. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about percentage graphs. Okay, and for a percentage graph, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the symbol for percentage every time because I don't want to write percentage out all the time. Percentage graph. So let's take a look at a percentage graph. Now, if I had a real technical percentage graph, what I would have is I would have a little line that goes all the way across. And it would be broken into 100 little lines. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And so if I wanted 12%, I would color in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that would cover 12% of the graph. The thing is, I don't want to draw to help me learn. I don't want to draw 100 little dots and places and stuff. So instead of doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to do it in bulk. So let's say I have 4/4. Now, the nice thing about money is money relates very well to percentages because cents, there are 100 cents in a dollar, so there are 100% in 100%. So for example, this is 25 cents. So we would call this 25 cents 25% of $1. So 25% of $1. That's that guy right there. Now, if I happen to have, say, 3 of them right there, 3 of them, that would be 75 cents, which also means that would be 75% of $1. So it works out really nicely. Now you say, wait a minute. 25 cents, fair enough. 75 cents, fair enough. What would it look like as a graph? Well, let's take a look here. Let's draw a little line. Okay, so we have a graph. Now we'll make it a bar graph. Let's make it more bar-y. There you go. So if I wanted 25% of a dollar, I would do 25 cents. One of those 4 blocks would make 25 cents. If I wanted 75% of a dollar, 1, 2, 3, 4, each block is worth 25%. So it'd be 25, 50, 75% of that. So those are percentage graphs. Now, we can also do it, say, with dimes. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get all 10 of these together. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Holy cow, I'm barely going to fit it on here. 10. So if I were going to make a percentage graph of this, let me change colors here. If I were going to make a percentage graph of this, I would say there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So I would have, if I wanted 20%, all I would need to do is say 20 cents. That would be 20% of any given thing. So I split it into 10%, 10%, and that makes a total of 20%. If I wanted 60%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, and 10%. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dimes, I would have 60% of $1. Okay, 60% of $1. So there we go. Now, by the way, we don't have to do it out of a whole dollar. In this case, I wouldn't want to use nickels for a whole dollar because I'd have to have 20 of them. But in this case, I have 5 nickels. So out of 5 nickels, we're going to call my 5 nickels 100%. So that's all the nickels I have. That's 100%. My question to you is, what percentage of nickels are on this graph at this point? What percentage of nickels? All right. Well, the answer is a little easier to find than you think, because there were a total of 5 nickels. So I have 1/5. Well, if I have a fraction, 1/5, I can turn that into a decimal fairly easily. How do I turn fractions into decimals? Well, to turn a fraction into a decimal, all I have to do is take the top number, 1, and divide it by the bottom number, 5, 0.2. Now, 0.2 is not a percent. It's a decimal. But how do I turn a decimal into a percent? 1, 2 spots over. And what do you put in the blank spot? A 0. And so that's going to give me 20%. So being able to talk about fractions allows us to talk about decimals, or it allows us to talk about percentages. So in this case, I have 1/5, which is 0.2, which is 20%. Although you could have done it a different way. How many cents is that worth? 5 cents. Out of how many cents were there possible? There were 5 nickels, so there were 25 cents. So if I had 5 cents out of 25 cents, I could reduce that, and that turns into 1/5, which is 0.2, which is 20%. So in this case, one of these blocks would be 20%. So a couple ways to take a look at percentages, decimals, and fractions, and to make some percentage graphs. So hopefully percentage graphs will be helpful to you. Now, let's